Well, I don't know how to introduce this because this is the most original thing ever done on YouTube. We're going to review a movie and talk about. Okay, fine. I'm going to review a movie and talk about what I think was good, was bad, and what could have been different. Not appearing with me today is my best friend Harvey. And, well, he'll be giving some sound bites here and there. But you know what? I've wasted enough time. We just saw Superman 2025, and we have some thoughts, obviously. I'm a huge DC Comics fan. I love the cartoons. I've loved a lot of the movies. My friend Harvey is a huge Superman fan, so he'll obviously see anything with the big S on it. I myself am a huge Batman fan, so obviously there's going to be some back and forth. So let's get into the nitty gritty. My first gripe with the movie: too many characters. We had Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, obviously Superman, Lois Lane, Perry White, Lex Luthor, his girlfriend Eva, or Evie, Hawk Girl, Ultraman, the Engineer. Okay, for a movie that's supposed to start the DCU, that's way too many characters in for the get-go. I mean, I, I, I think the point is that James Gunn, he really likes to do ensemble casts. A lot of his movies involve a lot of characters doing their own thing, and obviously culminating into the overall plot of the movie, but it was too much. There was so much. And to be honest, some of them just were literal background characters, like the like, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I'll just say it: when a group of people were going to do something, half of those people didn't. They just, I wouldn't have done it because they were just there for what? Just to fill in seats? It doesn't make sense to me. Another point I need to make is that there were too many subplots. There was the subplot between the two countries, the subplot between what Lex was doing, Superman's whole overall moral quandary of whether or not he had to be involved in that conflict. There was just too much of it. And to me, a Superman movie, if you're gonna introduce a new franchise, a superhero franchise, you need to just do it about the one character. You can't do it about so many different things. I mean, I get you want to introduce the Justice League eventually. You can hint to that, but you don't have to do them all in one go. I mean, if anything, I kind of feel like James Gunn he had his heart set on making a Green Lantern film. Because I felt like Guy Gardner, like, he was trying to be the breakout character. You get what I mean, man?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but, I mean, if you're trying to do a movie about Superman, just stay on course. And another gripe that I had that my buddy agrees with me is Lex Luthor was too whiny. I mean, I always knew that everybody knows that Lex Luthor is this guy who's always super jealous of Superman. And, I mean, every iteration we have of the Superman mythos always has somewhat of a different version of Lex Luthor. And to me, my definitive version of Lex Luthor was from the Superman animated TV series when he was voiced by Clancy Brown. He was calm, calculated, but underneath all that, there was rage and jealousy because he's a guy who built his company from nothing. He can solve complex equations just like that. And then Superman comes in, flies in, starts saving the day. Everybody loves him. Whereas Lex Luthor, he's going like, what the hell? I built a company from nothing. I'm a super genius. Why the hell aren't you people loving me? So I felt that Lex's character was not so developed properly. If anything, I felt like he should have stayed like a calm and collected character, and then maybe at the climax of the movie, then his rage just bursts out, and he's going ham, going like, it should be me that people love, not you. You're an alien. I'm human. That sort of thing. 1 second. That's good. So yeah, I felt that Lex Luthor, he was too immature. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Immature. He was a guy who breaks his toys and then blames everybody else when he can't fix them. So yeah, to summarize all the bad points, it was too much in one go. It's like you get your steak before you get all your appetizers. And then you kind of wind up going like, oh, okay, the steak was great. I love it, but okay, I don't really want the bread. I don't want the garlic bread. I don't want the cheese knots. I'll just take the check and go. But now I want to focus on the good things because too many reviews focus on all the negative things. I liked the overall tone of this movie because it was like a live action version of the cartoon. It was lighthearted, didn't take itself too seriously. Maybe that's a bit of a downside to it, but I just felt this was a good way to have a Superman movie. Granted, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel had a dark tone to it, and I felt like had he had enough another movie, he would have had Superman bring the hope to the people. I felt like people underestimated that, or they didn't appreciate that there was going to be a slow burn. But with James Gunn, he was hopeful. He was a good guy. He was the good guy. He never swore. He said things like, "Oh golly," he was passionate about his dog. He fucking saved a squirrel. Okay, granted that was a bit of a lame thing to do, but it just showcases how good a guy he is. And what I really loved about how David Corenswet did this character, or maybe it was the writing, is that when he was fighting the engineer, that lady who had all those nanobots and stuff, he was actually trying to convince her, okay, come on, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to be the bad guy. And I thought that was really good because we didn't really have something like that in a superhero movie yet, like trying to be the merciful person, showing that, there's another way. We've never had that a lot. And okay, let's be honest, we never had that in Marvel because Marvel was never shy of killing people. Yeah, Captain America killed so many people. Yeah. Let's not forget that. Yeah. Not to slight Captain America. Captain America was a really good movie. I really liked Winter Soldier. I felt that the chemistry between this version of Lois and Superman was really good. It was they had they had their couple struggles, but it was a lot better than previous incarnations. There was romance, obviously, but there was a bit of professional tension when it came to them being reporters. And, Superman, Lois Lane's pseudo interview with Superman, that really showed that, okay, she's not afraid to ask the tough questions, and Superman is he's trying to figure out the right answer when, in fact, the only thing he can really answer with is, I'm here to help people. I want to be the good guy. And I feel like there's a lot of potential in this. If anything, James Gunn needs to see everything that people are talking about in this and then really use that for the next few DC movies. Because, like I said, the first gripe is too many characters. You need to focus on the one thing. And now I kind of want to dive into what I think I would have done with this Superman movie. For one thing, obviously, I'd minimize the amount of characters. I wouldn't have introduced the Justice Gang just yet. Maybe I would have hinted to that here and there. I would have gotten rid of the kaiju fight because that was a bit redundant. And instead of using Ultraman, I would have used maybe Metallo, because then he could have like a kryptonite core as his power source. So that could also show, weaken Superman during their fight. But I would have done it that Lex Luthor was had this seething anger underneath all his calmness and collected attitude. And he's seeing Superman saving the day left and right, and you can just kind of see those hints of jealousy kind of bubbling up on the surface. To when the point he decides, you know what, I'm going to make sure people see Superman for what he, quote-unquote, really is. So then he starts that whole conflict between Barovia and the other country. Then he starts he sneaks into the Fortress of Solitude and fakes the message of being a conqueror. Then he decides, you know what? I'm going to make sure people see me as the hero. He then dons a super suit and hires a bunch of thugs to fake crimes. He solves those quote-unquote crimes, whereas Superman is kind of tied up with being investigated as a potential threat to humanity. And then after, like, Lex Luthor is revealed to have started all this, then they could have had the big climatic fight, Superman versus Super Lex, and they're bashing each other, going in a Dragon Ball Z-style fight. They're destroying half the city, or maybe that Superman does it so that Lex Luthor is destroying half the city, so people can see who he really is, and then could culminate with Lex and him destroying a city during their fight, and that building that they're in is actually LexCorp. And then at that final moment, Lex is just, he doesn't care anymore. He just shouts all his stuff that he's angry about, and revealing that it was him the whole time. And then we have maybe like a news drone or one of those drone cameras that maybe Jimmy Olsen is operating, that's broadcasting this whole thing. And then Lex Luthor falls down defeated because he's lost the love of the people, and his big plans have been revealed. And that's how actually I would have done the movie. Just keep it simple, focus on the rivalry between Lex and Superman, showcasing just how far a person's obsession could take them. I mean, obviously, there would be things that I would need to show that Lex Luthor is this cunning genius. And I think the best version, I would do it in the same way that Superman Doomsday, the animated series movie, did. Whereas one of his first scenes is you see Lex Luthor staring out at that window at night, during the night. His secretary comes in saying, Lex, we have a problem, this and this happened. Lex Luthor just simply stops her from talking, writes down on a piece of paper, gives it to her, and says, this is the cure for muscular dystrophy. Give it to the boys in the lab and slow it to a crawl so we can charge people per session. That is brilliant because A, you showcase how smart he is. He's so smart, he's able to solve a muscular disease just by thinking about it. He writes it down so nonchalantly, and then he tells his secretary that they need to slow it to a crawl so that people can keep buying the cure. That's how you showcase his greed, because he could easily have given it away for nothing because he already has all that money. But now he's just going to milk people dry for it. So if it was me, I would have done that as Lex's first scene, or something similar, to showcase both his intellect and his greed. I'm not a writer, I just read the comics, but I mean, I can definitely see how this movie took a lot from certain comics. Like, for one thing, it took that scene of bringing hope to people from Kingdom Come, as well as Superman being the good guy from All-Star Superman. But I mean, sometimes I think the problem is I've read these comics, I love these comics so much that I can't really separate them from the movies. And yeah, movies and comics are similar things, but also they're not. It's apples and oranges, you know? The only thing that makes them similar is they're fruit. So in this case, movies and comics, what makes them similar? They're entertainment. It's always going to be impossible to make the perfect comic book adaptation, because obviously you're going to have to cut things for sake of time. You're going to have to dumb things down for the average movie-going public. And if you make a movie specifically for comic book fans, there's only like such a minute percentage that will actually, devotedly go. I'm one of those guys. I saw The Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies 3 times when they were in the cinema. So, and there's only so many of me. As far as I know, there's like one of me, and let's keep it at that. But I'd say my overall thoughts is, this movie has potential. If James Gunn learns from, like, what went wrong with this one, I know for a fact the next few movies are going to be great. Just keep them one character focused. Maybe give a few hints to the Justice League team up, and just be smart about it. Don't go so heavy-handed, and also try to have fun. try not to shove so much into people's faces that it just is too much for them. But overall, I'll give this movie a 6 out of 10. And you know what? It does have potential. If you're an average moviegoer, you're going to love it. If you like comics, you will find some gripes on it. But if anything, that just is good inspiration for your own stuff. Just learn from what went wrong and use it to your advantage. And with that, cheers.